These topics are almost related to, data analyst. Uh, you will learn some techniques here in today's class, and actually we have covered our introductory part earlier. Now we will be learning more practical and more, maybe complex or maybe more technical topics related to data analysis part. So let me just show you the file for today's class. I'll share these files with you if you want to make practice on these given templates. So we will start with this first topic, data validation, validation of data. So what do we mean by validation of data? If anyone can explain it quickly. You can see the template here for idea, but if anyone has ever experienced this, data validation portion or data validation part, so please share if anyone can explain it.
Normally, we are checking the accuracy of the data.
Okay, so it's something more about restriction or limiting, putting some restrictions or limits on our data. So, for example, if you are heading a team of data entry operators, if you are giving some task related to data to someone, and you are designing a data entry file, so this data validation option helps you a lot to make some restrictions, to put some restriction on your data entry so that the chances of errors in your data entry will be, minimized. So to avoid any large number of errors, you can restrict your data while you are entering in your Excel file. So how it works? First of all, let me show you where you find this function. Go to data menu. You will find a data tool in the ribbon. In this category, you will find a drop down menu here, data validation. So how it works? Click on this, and you will find this data validation option. So you see there is a list of options. You can put different type of restrictions in your data. For example, you will see a drop down menu here. So if I click on this whole number, so I will explain every option one by one. So we start with this whole number. What do we mean by whole number and how we can put some restrictions here? So for example, when I selected this option whole number, so I found three more drop down menus. So one is data. So what do we mean? This list contains different options related to values. For example, you want to make some range, either a range between 5 to 10, between 50 to 100 something. So you can pick this number. If you want to restrict your value to be greater than or less than or equal to, you can put any number. So for the experiment, I will pick this between option here, and I will mention minimum and maximum values to put my restriction on this data. So before I pick some value, I mention some value. Let me find let me highlight the area. So I'll tell you why this is so important to highlight the area or select the cell first, so you can have better idea how it works. So for example, I pick all these cells and I go to data. I go to this data validation, go to this any value drop down menu, click on this whole number for first example, first experiment. The between is there. I picked this command between, and I will mention minimum and maximum. Let's say I mention here 5 to 10. So when I'm giving this data entry file to my subordinate or my team to enter data, they will not be allowed to value other than this range. How it works, for example, my restriction has been applied on this highlighted or colored area. So for example, if I want to enter here 4, so you will notice that Excel will not me will not allow me to mention 4. So this message indicates you should try your number. You should check your number whether it's within the given range or is there is some value restriction. So you go back and you check it. Yes, there is some restriction. So you can correct your value. So closing this message, for example, if I mention here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Fine. What if I mention here 11 will not be allowed? What if I mention here 4 will not be allowed? Because we have put restriction of between command, which is 5 to 10 range. This range can be anything. For example, it can be in hundred, in thousands, any amount, any number. For example, you are entering data of some households persons, and you are entering age. So for age indicator, you can mention that the respondent cannot be less than 18 years or greater than 90 years, for example, or 60 years. So that kind of questions can be addressed through this command, whole number. So you notice that we have tried every number, and it works. So for example, if I mention 10 again, for example, it will be accepted. But what if I mention something in this blank cell? This is not highlighted or colored cell. If I mention something 11 or 4, so it's accepting everything. That's why I told you before applying this command, you must have to select the area first, and this will work on the cell which will be selected before applying this command. Otherwise it will not be working. So for example, one more point. If I copy this cell here, I copy this cell and I paste in the ninth row, which is blank cell. And if I try to, enter some other number other than the given range, so it will not work, which means any cell where you have put where you have put this restriction, any number restriction, you can copy that cell or you can copy that range and you can paste somewhere else, and that restriction will be valid at that place as well. So if I want to remove this, if, for example, if I copy this blank cell and I paste here where the restriction is already applied, the restriction will be gone. The function will not work here because I have copy pasted blank cell and pasted on the area where the restriction was applied. So in other words, now this command will not work if you copy any blank cell and you paste anywhere in the selected area. So with there at that place, the command will not work. So I hope you got the idea of this whole number and this validation. So we have 3, 4 more options. We have to check one by one everything. We have to check all the functions, and at the end we will learn about this input message and error message, and I'll tell you why this is important. So for example, now we are on the second category, decimal. So for example, sorry, I didn't pick the area, I didn't pick the cells. So let's say I give some other color, and here we are going to check decimals, the same function, the same process. So go to data validation, go to this decimal. Now you can put some decimals along with number. For example, if I mention some number, 4.5 is my minimum number and 8.5 is my maximum number. So now I can mention any value between these two ranges. Otherwise, any value other than these two numbers will not be accepted. So 4.5. So let's say if I try to enter 4.4 mistakenly, this will not be allowed. If I mention 4.7, yes, it's fine. It will be accepted. 6.5, maybe 5.7, every value is accepted. So for example, if I mention here 8.5, the maximum number, yes, accepted. If I mention 8.6, this will not be accepted. You notice that you can put this restriction on decimals as well. So we will check the value and we will enter the value. The same thing, if I copy blank cell and paste here, this validation will be removed. So here is another thing, list. what do we mean by list? So sometimes when you are entering data on some questionnaire information, for example, household survey or marketing survey, you find some responses in yes, no, or maybe in Likert scale. You understand Likert scale where you give your preferences on a five scales, you know, 5 word scales. So let's say for list, you can add anything. You can put list of items, you can put list of countries, you can put list of names. So here we have, for simplicity, we have yes, no answer. For example, you ask someone, uh, is there electricity facility in your home? For example, the answer will be yes or no. Or do you vote? The other example, the answer will be yes or no. So how would you handle this kind of, you know, questions in validation? Go to data validation, you will pick this list option. Here you can mention this response in two ways. Remember that. I have mentioned these two responses in I column. First option is you click on this arrow. If the list is long, for example, you are maintaining a data at global level and you are supposed to restrict a list of countries which is 200 plus. So you can just simply add a list of countries somewhere else and just click on this option and pick those options. Pick that list in this, you know, bar, and the list will be selected. This is way of option number one. So you notice that I just mentioned I this reference in this bar and pressed OK. So you notice that when I will be trying to enter on this cell, there is a drop down menu, and this drop down menu will only be appeared in this list option. This drop down menu you will not find here in other, you know, number related options. So when you want to answer something, when you want to enter some information, click on this, you will find yes or no. And as you move down, you will be, you know, observing this drop down menu in these cells, unless the area selected area will be over, you will not find this. You notice that as I reached at this point, there is no drop down list. Yes, drop down list is, you know, applicable up till in at this point 7 number row. So if I come here, if I want to mention something, don't know, so this will be accepted. But if I mention somewhere else, don't know, this will not be accepted because of this limitation. So I hope you got this idea. You can put any list, as I mentioned, list of items, list of names, list of country names, or anything. So moving forward, there is an option related to date. For example, you have conducted a study or survey and you want to restrict the date of, you know, field field work. So data entry operators will not be, you know, entering wrong dates in your record in your data entry file. So you can put date. This can be this can be considered any scenario, maybe logistics, maybe trading, maybe attendance, maybe education record or anything. So go to this first, select this cells, go to this data validation, pick this date menu here, date option here, and you can mention date here. For example, the same option, you can mention a range of date at site, and you can just give the reference by clicking on this upper arrow, just like we did in yes no case, or otherwise you can mention separately. For example, if I mention here uh, 0501 2025, which is 1st May, I believe, and I mention here 0505 5th May 2025. We have mentioned two dates, and you can give any scenario. I mean, equal to, less than, greater than, anything. It's up to you. So press OK. And up till here, let me highlight this area first. And if I mention here any other date, um, any date other than the given range, for example, if I mention here 0506, which I suppose is a day, so this will not be accepted. But if I mention here 05 2, which is 2nd May, that will be accepted. Again, uh, if I mention some previous date, for example, I mention 04 April 30th April 2025 will not be accepted. You notice that? So similarly, if I try to enter date other than 5th May, for example, 05, and this mid digit is days. So if I want to enter 6th May, which is beyond, or which is uh, you know you can say which is not the required date, or maybe it's beyond our range, so this will not be accepted. 6 May is not allowed. So you can, this way you can restrict your dates. Similarly, I will not more spend on this time option. Just go to this data value, pick your time slot, and you can mention your, for example, you are conducting some exam, and the exam is supposed to be completed in 3 hours, or from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. something. So you can mention your time slot here, for example, 10 a.m., let's say. It should be 11:30. So it can be any scenario. So let me check if it works. So if, for example, if I mention here 10:30, fine. But if I mention here 0:59, will not be accepted. Just 1 minute difference, but not accepted. So similarly, if I mention here 11:30, it will be accepted. If I mention 11:31, this will not be accepted. So I hope you got the idea how it works. So the last option here, text length. So you can restrict even text length. So for example, if your data entry team is entering some names or some information related to text, so you can put some restriction related to text length. How it works, go to this data menu and click on this, data validation, pick this text length, and you can mention the length here. For example, you say the word will not be less than 5 characters or greater than 10, for example. So press OK, and now we check the restriction here. For example, if I mention here a name of a person, for example, Ali, will not be accepted because it's only three characters. So, for example, if you mention here Farhan, yes, it will be working. If you mention here Google, so let's say it works. Yes, it's 6 characters. So we have limit of 5 to 10. So, for example, if we mention here, let's say Pakistan, uh, let's say Zindabad, so will not be accepted because this word is bigger than 10 characters. So uh, if you mention digital, it will be accepted. If you mention digital skills, so I believe that will be bigger than the given range. So this way you can put your restrictions. This validation is very useful when you are maintaining data in any aspect. That can be survey data, that can be financial data, that can be accounting related data, or logistic related data. So you can apply these conditions there. But our topic does not complete here. We have to learn something more in this topic. So go to this data validation, you will find two more tabs here. Input message. So what this input message is, for example, if I want to apply this input message on this range, and I think our range was 5 to 10, I think, let me check. Yes, 5 to 10. I can mention here, uh, please enter value between 5 to 10. So this message is for data entry operator, 5 to 10. Let me check. Enter value 5 to 10. So there is some limit of this message. You cannot mention a big sentence here. So I mentioned enter value between 5 to 10. Okay. So when you will be clicking here, so let's say 3. Yes, this message should be appeared. Let me try here one more time. Why it's not working? So let's say I go to this data and let me show it how it works. So enter number between 5 to 10 input message. Ideally, it should be, appeared here. So let me check other option. For example, if there is some error and I want to indicate to check your error, go to this error alert. So there are different type of alerts: stop, warning, information. So if you can pick any word from this list: stop, warning, what kind of information is that? Stop, uh, error message, or you can say caution, let's say, and you can mention your error message. Uh, check the value, check the number, that kind of message. Or what can be appropriate sentence here? It should be between 8, 5 to 10. Okay, so I think we have mentioned it somewhere else. So actually we were supposed to select some area first. Let's say I pick this number again, or let's say this decimals. And sorry, mistakenly I didn't select the area first. So let me check caution. This that can be, you can create your own error message. The purpose of this tab, this option, is you can create your own message. So check the number. It should be between 4.5 to 8.5, for example. Let me copy this. Yes. So if I mention something, 4.3, yes. So you notice that I created my own error message, caution, check the number, it should be between 4.5 to 8.5. So these kind of messages are very useful, and this give indication to data entry operator as well, so that he should be informed the given limit or given range. So similarly, that the other option should be applicable, should have been applied, but I think there is some problem, I don't know why. So maybe input message, alert, sorry, I forgot to select the area just last time, and we will move on. So sorry. What I did, I I did not, mention the message in the input message, but I mentioned mistaken in the title. So let's say alert. So this alert, copy, and yes, this is what I wanted to show you. This is not the error actually. This message is just a caution alert when you are entering some data. So this message will be appeared on each cell where this restriction will be applied. So I hope you got the idea how it works. So there is one more option: circle invalid data. So for example, we have put some restrictions here. So I pick this option, circle invalid data. How it will be working, how it will work. So for example, uh, circle, what, it's not working. So for example, let me come to this option, this column. Let me highlight it, and we try to check uh, whether the value is, you know, less than or greater than or what. And we want to highlight the area. Basically, this is, you know, just to highlight error values or values which does not come into your under your range. So first, we will mention some rule here. Let's say we say this value should be, you know, between uh, 10 to 30, for example, and this is our condition. So again, I pick this one and I go to this condition. Not working. So let me mention some number here, for example, and just give me a minute more. Rand between, let's say 10 to 20. These are some numbers I generated randomly. And here I put some restriction related to this data validation. And I mentioned some values, for example, whole number, and I say this value should be, you know, uh, 20 to, let's say, 30. And after that, if I click on this circle invalid information, so you will notice that all values which are lesser or greater than the given range, which was 20 to 30, so all values have been highlighted, which means circle invalid data. So I don't know why it was not working on this file. Perhaps I have done some experiments on these files. That's why it didn't work there. But yes, it's working here, but on different column. So you notice that I applied something where I think earlier I applied this condition on income column. So you notice that the same circles are appeared in the same file, but not the other one where I was mentioning it. So this way you can highlight your data. So this is not, you know, about this function is not related to data analysis something, but this is only just to show some specific values, some specific errors when you are dealing with big data. So there, this function works. Circle invalid data, just to, you know, highlight the values which are not coming under your range. And the last thing, how you can remove these circles. If you want to remove by selecting these cells and clicking delete, this will not be removed. The data will be removed, the circles will be there. I just did it. So for example, if you want to remove these circles from your data after giving your presentation or showing to someone else, you select the area and go to this clear validation circles. So these circles will be removed. So I hope you got the idea how, you know, these validations can be applied on different scenarios. So moving forward, uh, there is some other function which is not mentioned in our, you know, planner, but I just saw it. I thought I should explain it. Text to column. Maybe some of you are familiar with this function. So for example, we pick this column. This is you know, customer database, column number A, customer ID. This is a big text. What if I want to split this big text into other columns? In maybe I want to split this text in three portions. So there is a shortcut. And imagine you have a big database, 5,000 or 50,000 customers. So just select this data. Let me, you know, create two columns more here. I created two more columns, or in other words, I inserted two more columns for this experiment. And I want to split this data into other columns because this key is very, you know, lengthy, and I may have to apply some formulas. So for that purpose, I selected this area, go to this text to column, and you will find this there is a delimited already selected. So click on this next. Here you will mention that you know, that character or that thing on the basis of uh, that option you want to split this, you know, big text. For example, if there is semicolon, you can mention here. If there is space, you can mention this will be splitted on the basis of space between the characters. Or if there is some other characters, like I want to mention it with this hyphen. So you notice that three lines appeared in this preview, data preview. With this character, I want these cells to be splitted in next columns. Press OK, next, and click on this finish. Yes. So you notice that the actual ID splitted into three columns based on the hyphen, which I mentioned there. If there was a space between these three words, that can be splitted as well. Or if there is any other character, maybe some and option or something else. So you can mention and you can split the word. So we are done with this validation option. Now we will be learning about this grouping ungrouped data, and this is easy and interesting topic. So for this kind of experiment, we I have created a sheet, all dummy data. Just let me explain you briefly. So we have data of five cities. Let's say you can say Lahore total, and there is a separation or a break, and then Islamabad data, Islamabad total, Karachi total, Peshawar. So we have five cities uh, in this sheet. Uh, Again, dummy data. There are some other information: gender, male, female, birth month, sales representative ID or age or whatever. So ideally, you can say this is data of some mart or maybe sales related information. So here, which is important, what is important in this file is quarter 1 and quarter 2. And also you can see that there are three columns, which is a breakdown of quarter 1, and three columns, which is a breakdown of quarter 2. So sales in January, sales in Feb, sales in March, April, May, June. So we have 6 month data with 2 quarters, and also we have five cities, information of five cities. So why we are discussing this and why we need this function here. This group ungroup function is very useful. Uh, how? So for example, if you are working on a big data set, just like customer database, you have 100 plus columns, 5,000 plus records, and you are giving some presentation to your senior management, and there are a lot of columns, which some are important and most of them are not important. So for presentation or for overview of your file, you can group this data or ungroup this data. So I hope you will get some idea what I'm talking about. For example, I have all these columns. I don't need to show this month-wise information. I only need to show my quarter performance, quarter 1, quarter 2. But I'm grouping this data in a way, if someone wants to see the details on single click, all details should be available for the viewers, for the audience. So for example, step number 1, I'm starting from this JKL column, right? So what I'm doing, I'm simply selecting these three column. I'm in the data menu, you will find this outline category. There are two options, group. So as I click on this group, you will see a change, a minus sign here. So I will explain it. I will do it. I'll show it later, but let me perform it first. Again, I am hiding this information or grouping the information of first quarter as well. I'm clicking on this, selecting all these three columns, Jan, Feb, March, clicking on this group, and I have two buttons now. Similarly, if I want to hide this, city-wise information, which may not be, required at the time of presentation. So I can select these rows and I'll click on this group. You will notice that there is an other minus button, and I'm doing it for 5 times quickly just to perform this function, group, and also Karachi grouping, and the last one Peshawar. Okay, so what I'm doing now? With this minus button, I can hide all the information and I can show all the information on just a single click. For example, if I click here on minus sign, you will notice that all three columns are hidden now, and there is a plus sign on the top of this, M column. And if I want to hide these three columns, I will click on this and these three columns also hidden. Similarly, if I want to hide data of Lahore, if I left with only Lahore total and all the information hidden now. Similarly, if I click on this Islamabad, you notice that all the information hidden. And similarly, if I click on this Karachi and is Peshawar and Quetta left, we could not group Quetta, I think. So let me hide this one as well. And you know, Quetta also hidden. So 5 rows, 2 columns. There is no information. You can open all information one by one. So for to hide your required columns, you will click on minus sign, and to open your hidden information, you will click on this plus sign. So you notice that as I clicked on plus sign, so my quarter 2 month-wise information appear now. Total is mentioned here. As I click on this next button, so you notice that all totals, district-wise totals are available now. Similarly, if I want to open this Lahore information, I will click on this plus sign. Lahore information will be opened. All other information are hidden or not appear now. So similarly, if I click on this plus sign, you will see Islamabad something. And uh, after that, once we have applied this group function on all the information, there is one more shortcut. Instead of clicking minus sign 3 times, 5 times, or 10 times, there is another option, 1 or 2. If I click on 1, so you notice that on 1, if there are 10 minus sign or 10 plus sign, all will be folded or unfolded. So similarly, if I click on 2, so on just a single click, if I have grouped 10 or 20 or 100 columns, all will be opened on just by clicking on this 2 number. Similarly, if I click on 1, so you notice that all information uh, hidden by clicking on 1. And if I click on 2, so all the groups will be opened. So this function is very useful when you are working on a big data set, when you are, giving some overview, giving some presentation or data set, and you want to use shortcuts to reduce the space or to reduce the time. So this way you can group ungroup. And if you want to remove these functions, similarly, just select the area, go to this ungroup function, and you will notice that all minus, plus sign, and 1, 2, that will be gone. Similarly, if you want to undo this at row wise or the city information, you will select all the rows and you will click on this ungroup, and your data will be on in actual shape, in actual format. So I hope you got this idea. Uh, if you have any question, if you didn't get it, if you are not able to understand this, let me know. I'll explain it again. Otherwise, we can start the topic, or we can take 5 minutes break. So you take 5 minutes break and then we will start on this subtotal function. I'll be back at 8:52. So 5 minutes break. So, hello, I'm back. I'm sharing the screen again, and we are moving to the next topic, subtotal. So, let me know who is present. Tremendous time. Who is present? Raise your hand. Raise your hands, please. Good. Fine. Thank you. So, good, good. Moving forward, subtotal. So, what is subtotal and how it works? I have a separate sheet for this experiment. So, good, Naimbai. So you see, there is some information I copied from this customer database for 5 columns: region, gender, age, birth month, income. So our element is income, and maybe can any other topic, any other column can be relevant to this function. So why we are, adding this topic for this data analysis related operation? So there is a some simple sum function. I hope you all must be familiar with this sum function. We will be learning all the formula in the next class on maybe on Friday. But just for this time, I am mentioning a simple formula. So some formula can be applied in 2 or 3 different ways. So the very simple formula is equal to sign and sum, and you can mention, you know, you can select the range of your data. Like I selected 5,000 plus cases, and you can see the range or reference in this cell where I put the formula and press OK. So you notice that the total value is, or in other words, the total income of 5,000 plus persons is 275,203. And that can be any scale, income per hour or per day or something. So what is subtotal? So subtotal is different. Uh, the same pattern uh, for putting the formula. So you see subtotal. As I mentioned, subtotal, you will find this subtotal function. As you click on this function, you will find a list of options. So how this is different from the previous one. So for example, if I pick any function from here, let's say sum for the first experiment, let's say sum, which is actually a 9. And if instead of picking this value from this drop-down list, I simply can mention 9 here because 9 indicates sum from this list. So click on this sum. As you mention, as you see, 9 number is mentioned, which is actually a reference. And also, again, I'm, you know, selecting all this range and pressing enter. So the both values are same. Sum is the same value, subtotal is the same. So what is the difference here? Let me find another formula. So let me, uh, pick some other information and then I'll explain it all. So for example, the same formula subtotal. Now I'm picking a function other than sum that can be average. Let's say you want to check average age or average income. So let's say I picked one which indicates average, and again I'm selecting all the range of income cell, income column, and you notice that average income is 55. So what is the difference? I have put 3 basic formulas. You are familiar with this data set, so I'm just focusing on this, sum and subtotal. So the difference is whether you apply filter on any column, this will remain same. Let me highlight this. So for example, if I click on this female, I'm just applying filter on this female. So you notice that this sum will not be changed, but subtotal changed. So subtotal is a concept that you apply a formula on a big range, and that will be, the result will be changing as you will be applying some filter. So this subtotal is showing now the number of females income, not this number does not include male income. So as we have put some filter here on this gender, so this is showing the subtotal now. Similarly, subtotal average. So earlier the average income was something else, but now as we applied this filter, the average income changed. And this is also showing the income related to females, not males. So for example, we apply one more filter here in the region, and we check what is the situation in Islamabad. So you notice that this sum remains the same because it's a simple formula. It will not be changed by applying any kind of filters, but subtotal changed. Now subtotal result contains two filters, or in other words, this number is calculated based on two filters. One, the all customers belong to Islamabad. Second, all customers belong to Islamabad, but also they are females. Similarly, if I apply some other filter, let's say third filter, uh, April. So I say that all customers belong to Islamabad, they are females, and they visited the mart or shop in April. So, this number is decreased more because we have applied third filter. Similarly, you can apply one more filter, age. So you can restrict some age. Let's say you say uh, females from Islamabad visited in April, their age should be 30, the fourth filter. So you notice that the subtotal is, applying on every level. So similarly, the subtotal average is being applied on every level. So you also notice that we are left with only one value out of 5,000 when we applied four different filters. So as you will be removing these filters, the result will be changed. Subtotals will be, changed now. So we are removing all the filters one by one just to see the change in the subtotal. So I hope you got the idea. Sum is a total. Subtotal gives you a breakdown of your result according to category or according to the filter. So as many filters you will be applying on this subtotal, the number or result will be reduced or will be changing accordingly. So that's a interpretation or definition of this subtotal. So I hope you got the idea. If there is any confusion in this topic, please let me know. Otherwise, we move on to the next topic. So clear to all, everyone?
Yes, yes, clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. So what is next? Next is consolidation of data. Very important. So uh, let me open another file for this experiment. I have so many files. Yes, this is consolidation function. So I'll be sharing with you so that you can make some experiments or some for your practice. So what do we mean by consolidation of data? So let me tell you the scenario. For example, you are working in education department or health department, and you are receiving some results of uh, schools or maybe health facilities on monthly basis. So pattern is the same, indicator is the same. Every time you need to compile the result. So for example, we have four tables, four sheets, and for this experiment, I have mentioned 6 months data in each sheet. And let me tell you, this is a all districts related to Punjab. I think 36 districts. I picked from some, list and I entered some dummy data. And these four sheets are showing the information of 4 years. But you are assigned a task to compile all these results and make a single table or single sheet. The new table should contain all the districts mentioned in the list, and sum of all the 4 years, you know, the results should be compiled in a separate sheet with the same structure. So you are going to compile all this information on a separate sheet. What if you don't know this consolidation function? I'm sure you will be doing manually. You will be, putting formula in a separate sheet. Let's say I create a new sheet, consolidated sheet, and I'll be mentioning here just for the idea if you are not picking it yet. So let's say I mentioned this list of districts here, and I copy paste, month of name of the months from this sheet, and I'm just copy pasting for my simple work, or in other words, labor work or manual work. So what I supposed to do here to compile the data, I will be adding uh, all numbers in all sheets, which are mentioned in the Jan, and I'll be picking, four values of Jan, let's say this value from each year, and I'll be mentioning here to compile the data. This way, there are a lot of chances of error, and this is a wastage of time. That a lot of time is required to, picking value from each sheet and mentioning here and putting formula, some formula, or some other technique. So there is a single click solution in the Excel to avoid all this, labor work. How it works? So simply I'm removing. I hope you got the structure, you got the idea behind this. Why what we are going to perform now? We are going to compile the information of 4 years in a single sheet on a single click. So I'm removing all these columns, and we are going to perform this consolidation function. How it works? Where is that? In data file, there is a, data tools, there is an option of consolidation. Click on this consolidation and you will find a sheet. You will find a window. So what you need to do, go to this sheet number one, year 20, click on this arrow and pick all these, area. I tell you the shortcut key. I pressed Control plus Shift, and once I entered right arrow, and then I entered down arrow. So all the areas selected. So I'm doing it again. So once the area selected in this reference file, click on this add. So your 1 year data has been added in this directory. So moving forward, so remove this. Now go to this 2021. Again, using the shortcut key, Control plus Shift, right arrow, down arrow. You will be selecting all the information. Click here, and again removing this, and we are picking 2022 information. Same pattern, add, and the last 2023 information. So what we are doing, click here and select all this, add. Now you must be careful while compiling the information. Click on this top row and left column. If you miss this top row, you will be compiling the number, but these number will be mentioned without month name. So you will not be having any idea which column is indicating to which month. So that's why you must click on this top row. Similarly, click on this left column. Why we need to add left column? Because there is, list of districts of a province. So you must remember to click on this left column. So before clicking OK, there is a drop-down menu. Again, you can consolidate your data for anything. Either you want to compile the numbers only, click on count. You want to add, click on sum. You want to take average of all these 4 years numbers, click on average, maximum, minimum, product, and there are many other options, statistical option as well. So click on sum and press OK, and your compiled data is here. Just a 2 or 3 minutes exercise, and you have saved a lot of your work. And now you can see a complete table. These number, if you want to double check these number, you can uh, check it manually, open the calculator and just enter value of attack city from all these files, and the result will be matched with this first number. If you add uh, four values of attack city in from across these files, and you will be finding the answer the same, 329. So similarly you can check any number. So consolidation is very important function in Excel that makes your life easy. And when you are doing data analysis or compiling data on regular basis, as I mentioned, whether you are working in health department, logistic, or education, so you need to compile data on regular basis. So this function is very useful. So I hope this function is also clear to you. If there is any point or question, confusion, let me know. Otherwise, we move on to the next topic, which is, very interesting topic. This is a what if analysis. So how many of you have heard about this what if analysis, or anyone worked on this what if analysis? Anyone can explain this what if analysis? Naim Saab, you must be familiar with this.
Yes, I studied, but I forget.
Okay,
Yeah,
so no problem. So
it's
no
been
one
long
knows.
time.
Yes, no one knows, no problem. Let me try to explain it. What if analysis. So I'm closing this file. Uh, yes, okay, save it. And there is a sheet, what if analysis, very colorful sheet, and you'll be enjoying this analysis. So let me hide these row columns for now, and we will be experimenting one by one. So this is scenario manager. What if analysis is a technique to, to find your required numbers on, or to analyze your number, or making your plans using some technique. So for example, uh, you can understand this by this word. This is a scenario manager, and how we can find this. Go to this data menu. Let me keep, keep it here. Go to data menu, and there is an option of what if analysis. So there are three different operations under this option, what if analysis. So basically, what if analysis is all about calculation for future. So forecasting, a kind of forecasting. So calculations for future, or you can say you are assigned a task to make a plan for next 5 years. What should be the production? What should be the price? What should be the quantity? So you give a summary by this what if analysis, and you make some predictions, okay, or you make some calculations for future using this function. So scenario manager is the first option. We will be discussing two others later. So what if analysis, just before experimenting this scenario manager, I let me explain you this scenario. So for example, you are a producer or maybe a seller. You are uh, you are producing some item in rupees 32. The cost of single piece is 32. Just understand this scenario. This will help you a lot to, understand the summary, or to understand the operation. So this scenario can be any. So for simplicity, we are taking very simple scenario. This is the price of one unit, 32 rupees, maybe $32. This is quantity, 100 units. So the total revenue should be how much? 3200. So you are just simply multiplying these two numbers. I have double clicked on this just to show you the formula. So when you will be multiplying these two numbers, the answer will be total revenue 3200. So let's say in this total revenue, there is a transport cost, which we assume 10%. So we mentioned here 10%. We just applied the formula, very basic calculation, and we found 10% cost of this total revenue, 320, which is 10% of this number. So there is a item cost. So item cost can be, you can say, uh, 20 20 rupees per unit, uh, per item. You can say this is the item cost. So total cost is 300. So very simple calculation. Let me briefly explain. Focus on these two lines. Yellow line, total revenue minus total cost. So your profit is 808 rupees after all these calculations. So this is also very simple. I just double click on this. You just subtracted total cost from total revenue. Your number, your profit is 818. I hope everyone can understand this equation, this simple calculation. So what we are going to do now, as a manager, as a data analyst, you are assigned a task to uh, to create a summary for next 5 years, or to create a summary of maybe 5 years, or maybe uh, you are supposed to generate a summary if you want, if you produce more units or if you sell more units. So what would be the profit scale? In other words, if you double your quantity, what would be the profit? If you increase your quantity from 100 to 300, what will be your profit? If you increase your quantity from 100 to 500, what will be your profit? So through this scenario manager, you are going to generate a summary, the summary of quantity and profit, two things. Okay. So how to create this? Simply click on this quantity, which is 100, and go to this what if analysis, go to the scenario manager. So some details are already mentioned. So I'm removing all this information from here. So what I'm doing now, I'm creating add and scenario manager. Let's say, understand this. This is scenario name, not a number. Remember that. So let's say I say, uh, if the quantity is 200, we are creating summary of quantity and profit, two indicators. Quantity is 200, press OK. So the unit should be 200. Let's say, press OK. And this way we will be creating 3, 4 more slabs. So let's say quantity 300. I'm pressing OK. Here you can also mention some comment as well. Anything you can, you want to add some more details about this calculation, you can mention here. So press OK. So again 300, press OK to add second slab. And yes, click on this quantity 400, fourth slab, press OK, 400. Let's say the last quantity 500. Mhm. Yes, yes, okay. So I think, yes, the changing cell should be this profit. I think if I'm not wrong. So let me do it. That's okay. Not something is wrong. Profit is 800. Okay. So Naeem, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं? Let me check it. Okay. C4.
Yes, I just want to ask one thing.
Yes.
It is showing some tick on that box, prevent changes. So what is that one?
Sorry.
Yeah, if you will go to the other one where you are working, putting the entries.
Mm. The new
Yeah,
one.
the down it's showing prevent changes and the down exactly the blue tick one.
Yes.
What is this one? What is this function? Why we are preventing changes? What does it mean?
I don't know. I did not check it, but I will check it. What do we mean by this prevent changes? I didn't notice it. Let me check it, and I will be able to explain it later. So let me perform it first. Yes, okay. So we have created five different, let's say quantity 600, and the last one quantity 600. And now if you click on this summary, yes, scenario summary. Basically, when I clicked on the summary, the next box appeared like this. Click OK, and you will notice that there is a summary table created, scenario summary. So, if you remember, we were talking about these two indicators. We were checking the units and we were checking the profit. So these two indicators are there. So if you check the quantity, quantity 200, quantity 300, quantity 400, quantity 500, also these are the names range. These are the values against each quantity. Fine. So this summary tells you the change in the profit as you change the quantity. And by this scenario manager, we calculated this summary and you know the process. Uh, this is the purpose of this scenario manager, scenario summary. You can apply it on any other thing. For example, you are working in financial sector, you are working on some stocks or some profit things, you can apply this. You If you are working in some maybe education department, you can apply this on some remarks or some output things or something, maybe in health sector as well. So I hope you got the idea. How did we calculate scenario summary from this nature? This first function is clear now. So moving forward, goal seek. So let me go to this, what if analysis, and let me open this, the other file. So there is a goal seek function. What is a goal seek? In this scenario manager, we created a summary of five, 6, or 10 different scales. What if the quantity is 100, or what if the quantity is 1000? So what would be the profit? So we are, analyzing two things. But in goal seek function, your focus is only one thing. Your required number is only one indicator. For example, again, the same scenario, you are earning 2,320 rupees or dollars when you are selling 100 units at given price. 48 is the price, 100 quantity you sold, and your profit after these calculations remains 2,320. But for this function, goal seek function, your question should be very clear. What you want? Your question is, how many units should I sold? You should I sell to get 10,000 profit? So you don't know anything. You only focusing on one number, 10,000, and you know that your profit should be 10,000. That's the only goal. But for getting 10,000 profit, how much quantity should be sold? So for this kind of experiment, we are performing this function, goal seek function. The process is the same. The way is the same, what if analysis, second option. So here you need to give two or three references. Set cell, which cell you want to change. So we already clicked on this profit, and this window picked this function, this reference H9, which indicates the profit cell. So what's in your mind? You only know about your profit 10,000. Let's say you want to jump from 2,000 to 10,000. For getting 10,000, how much, what you want to change, how much quantity you will be selling out. This is a question by changing this cell. So you don't know about the quantity, you only know about the profit. So click on this, you know, click on this quantity, which is I already have mentioned changing cell, target cell. So your target is 10,000, you don't know the quantity. This goal seek function will give you the number of quantity that should be sold to get this profit. So here you see, you need to sell 431 unit of any item to get this 10,000 profit. So this is how you can apply this goal seek function on any scenario. You can apply this in finance sector. This goal seek function is applied a lot in different scenarios, specifically when you are calculating loan things or insurance plans or all these kind of plans. So loan goal seek function is works there, or most of the time applied there, works everywhere, but most of the time used there. So I hope this simple goal seek function is clear to you. You can change anything. For example, you don't know the price, you give two other information, you give the quantity, you give the profit, and you don't know the price, how much price of your product should be charged. So you can check this price by giving two other information. You can check, you can find this price from goal sync function. So I just cross the button and I'm on the main on the same values because I didn't press OK. So similarly, this is a data table. This is basically a replica or reflection of scenario manager. So this is a third function available in this option, data scenario manager, what if analysis, data table. So how it works? So for example, we know that if we sell 100 unit, our profit is 2033, 32. Now we are on the third scenario and third function. We have simply mentioned this profit here, and we know that this is against 100. But we don't know the profit of these units. Let me highlight. We don't know the profit of these units. So what we are going to do, we are using the third approach. What will be the question? First read the question in blue box. What will be my profit if quantity changes? So quantity changed, but I don't know the profit. So for reference, we picked this profit from this. If I double click on this, you will get the idea. This is the same profit. Now we want to know the profit range on given quantities. So click I want to apply this technique. Select the area first, the entire range, including the highlighted and the profit and quantity, both columns. Go to this data, what if analysis, data table. So here you need to put this, this value, column input cell. Leave the first one, row input cell. Click on this column input cell. And if you notice that in quantity, our first value is missing. So what we are doing now, we will be giving the reference of this 100 here. Press OK. And you will notice that this the profit of other numbers will be mentioned or calculated. Press OK. And you notice that by just simple calculation, we just mentioned the quantity, we didn't know the profit. And as we change the quantity, double the quantity, the profit changed. And this technique or this let's say data table calculated profit for other quantity slabs as well. So these are three functions related to what if analysis. Uh, you will be understanding it more when you'll be doing assignment, and this will be useful for you to understand, and you can apply it in your field. or somewhere required. So from my side, today's class is over. If there is any question or there is any confusion, please let me know, and I'll try to explain. Otherwise, we conclude this class.
Excuse me, I have a question. So, if this what if analysis can be used as a prediction analysis? For example, if I am looking for, like, for example, the population in this year is this much, and I want to estimate that how much population would be in 2030. So, I should use this what if analysis?
No, we have done this exercise. What if analysis will not forecast the population? For
Okay.
forecasting, there is some other function available. Uh, but once we perform this kind of exercise, we did some other techniques that was, detailed calculations, different formulas. By
Okay.
manual formulas, we calculated that. But maybe there is some other function like forecast sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can find this population growth in this forecast sheet, or maybe this will help you to uh, to to forecast the weather if you have some certain data related to weather or some disease pattern, something. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
way you can use this.
So, will we learn about the forecast sheet?
This is not included in our content, but I'll see if
Okay.
required. So I may be able to explain it. But I never worked on this forecast sheet.
Okay. Thank you.
So Dr. Saima, is there any question? Yes, please. साइमा आप कुछ कह रही हैं,
Yes,
मुझे आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
अच्छा, अब मैं ये कह रही कि क्लास का टाइम खत्म हो गया। आई एम श्योर के सब लोगों को जल्दी होगी, तो हम बाद में ये सवाल पूछ सकते हैं। मैं ये पूछना चाह रही थी, ये जो आपने 2320 है, ये आपने कहाँ से उठाया था?
हाँ जी, ये वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। बेसिकली हमने इस सिनेरियो को अप्लाई करने के लिए हमने ये एज रेफरेंस, क्योंकि ये भी हमने एक रेंज हमने रेफरेंस के तौर पे दी हुई, तो मैं हमने ये प्रॉफिट इसी गोल सीक वाले फंक्शन से हमने इसका रेफरेंस किया था फॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ एक्सरसाइज। सो बिकॉज हमारे पास ये जो गोल सीक फंक्शन के अंदर ये जो आंसर आ रहा है ना, सॉरी आई एम स्पीकिंग इन उर्दू। सो एक्चुअली दिस number was picked from this goal seek table, and this is actually a reference cell. If I double click on this, you will get the idea. And the scenario is the same almost, because in goal seek function we have information as per 100 units, and the entire calculation is according to this 100 units. And in this data table, you notice that there was 100 is missing, and the quantity slabs are available and profit was missing. So just to perform this and third scenario, we picked this number from this table as profit, and we perform the analysis like you notice that data table, and we uh, input cell. Why in column input cell? Why column input cell? Because over one digit, one number is missing from quantity side, and this is column. So just to remember this column or row input, just remember that your information was in column, and your one value which was missing, that was column wise, not row wise. So that's why we mentioned 100 in the column cell and calculated the result. The result is already there, that's why it's giving error. Otherwise that calculated already. So clear, Dr. Simon?
Thank you. Thank you.
So if no more question, I'm signing off. With the good news, you will be getting your second assignment, and you will be, hopefully, you will be learning by these assignments, and these assignments are mandatory for the certificate. So please spare some time for these assignments, or already we are late for assignments. So I'll be sharing by tonight or tomorrow, inshallah. So
and
yes.
Yes, I just want to know, will we get these working files also?
Obviously, these
Oh,
all files are made for you people. I'll be
okay,
sharing
okay.
every file with you.
Thank you so much.
And okay, ji, signing off. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Assalamualaikum.